16 years was apparently enough. I'm Thomas Clark. Coming up, 8-term Congressman Lee Terry has conceded in his re-election bid against Democratic Brad Ashford.
And I'm Michael Lucas. We were there as Nebraska's new governor, Pete Ricketts, delivered his acceptance speech to a congratulatory crowd at the Cornhusker Hotel in Lincoln. Those stories and more on this edition of the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District will have a new representative for the first time in 16 years. Republican Lee Terry conceded his challenger, Democrat Brad Ashford, at 1:30 this afternoon.
In his concession speech this afternoon, Terry thanked the voters for his 8 terms in Congress. He joked with reporters during the short talk and congratulated Brad Ashford with the win. He said he has talked to Brad Ashford and promised to help with any transition in any way he can. He said representing the state has been a blessing.
Ashford held a slim margin over Terry with about 15,000 mail-in and absentee ballots to count. The difference is only about 4,000 votes. Last night, Terry vowed to stay in until the final vote was counted. That would probably be sometime later this week. But this afternoon, Terry conceded to Ashford, saying he ran a tough campaign.
Polls close in an hour and 15 minutes.
Through a long and hard-fought election season, it had finally come down to election night.
I absolutely am confident in the way the night's going to go.
The Lee Terry versus Brad Ashford race would become one of the more compelling races in the entire nation. A confident Terry campaign manager, Kent Grisham, said that they were doing everything in power to secure an edge over the competition.
And we made hundreds of thousands of telephone calls. We dropped hundreds of thousands of mail pieces. We knocked on over 20,000 doors. There was this huge voter contact effort that is always very gratifying, always very satisfying at the end of the campaign, and can make all the difference in the world.
Early reports showed that Terry was in good shape. However, the night didn't end as he might have liked. Trailing by nearly 4 points by the end of the night, a down but not out Terry won't accept defeat and continues to fight on.
It's going to be close. We know it's going to be close. It's always been that way.
But we're still very optimistic about how things are going, so stay tuned.
Grissom went on to rally the crowd and tell them that unity was the only way to achieve success.
We're all in this together. This is the year. This is the year for victory by the GOP.
Grissom was right in that statement. The GOP took both the House and the Senate. However, Lee Terry was not one of the winners in this year's election. An extremely close race within the margin of error was ended today when Terry conceded to Brad Ashford this afternoon.
When Brad Ashford finally spoke to his supporters at the Ramada Inn last night, the vote was close, and he was leading. He urged his supporters to be patient.
Yeah, we're winning this race.
At 1:30 in the morning, Brad Ashford addressed his supporters, letting them know that he plans on being our next state congressman. With a 3,000 vote lead, this race is waiting on the count for the remaining absentee ballots.
It's our belief that this race is almost done. And let me just put it this way, it's all going to be fine.
The halls of the Ramada Inn were filled with Ashford's true fans, as Ashford took the stage to tell us to gear up and wait in for a long fight.
I think the best thing for us to do now, they've stopped counting for the evening. They will go after the absentee ballots this next few days, but it's our belief that those absentee ballots will help us.
Even though it was early in the morning, Brad Ashford's supporters did not lose any of their energy, cheering Ashford on until he left the stage. Ashford ended the night by telling his supporters his plans for Congress once the election comes to a close.
Thank you all very much. I'm just so excited and pleased. Good night. Thank you. And let's get ready to go to Washington and make the changes that are going to be necessary. Thank you.
The patience paid off this afternoon when Lee Terry conceded to Ashford.
That's right, Thomas. It was a very close race indeed. Minimum wage workers in the state are in for a raise come January. Nebraskans voted overwhelmingly for voters in the decision to raise Nebraska minimum wage from the current $7.25 an hour. Effective January 1st, you can expect minimum wage to increase 75 cents to $8 an hour, and effective January 1st of 2016, minimum wage will increase to an additional $1 to $9 an hour. With the bump in minimum wage, Nebraska joins 23 other states currently set minimum wages higher than what's mandated by the federal government. Education in Omaha got a firm support from the voters. OPS was asking for a $420 million bond issue, and there's a strong approval. With another 60-40 split, the $420 million school bond will allow for the replacement of 4 local schools and the renovation of others. The bond will allow $90 a year in taxes to home assessed at $150,000. For more information on how the bond will be implemented, visit district.ops.org.
The city of Omaha is up to 23 homicides in 2014. The latest homicide was just after the polls closed last night around 9 p.m. Omaha police officers responded to the 45th and Grand Avenue regarding a shooting. Upon arrival, officers located 2 victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The victims were transported to CHI Health Creighton University Medical Center, where victim Jonesha Brown of Omaha died. Victim Stephen Arps of Omaha remains in critical condition. The investigation is ongoing, and anyone with any information is urged to contact the Omaha Police Department Homicide Unit at the number listed below. It's coming up. It's been 10 years since Nebraska has seen a new governor.
We were there as Pete Ricketts thanked his supporters and accepted his new position.
PBS is the place you should go first.
There are no advertisers to be satisfied, only an audience to be satisfied.
We take our responsibility as journalists very seriously. We are constantly thinking about our viewers and what they care about.
We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think.
At the News Hour, we are after the facts and only the facts.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city. Or just explore our state, find out about Nebraska in World War II, learn how Omaha has grown since, discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
You are watching the Omaha News.
Nebraska has a new governor for the first time in 10 years. The Nebraska governor's race was called around 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, with Pete Ricketts being declared the winner. Omaha News reporter Ryan Matheny reported on the Ricketts campaign all seasons and has this recap from the race.
For the first time since 2005, Nebraska has a new governor. Republican Pete Ricketts secured the seat, receiving 58% of the vote to best his opponent, Democrat Chuck Hasselbrook. Ricketts will replace Dave Heineman, who served 9 years as governor but was forced out due to term limits. At his election night headquarters in Omaha, Chuck Hasselbrook encouraged his supporters to be proud of the effort of the entire campaign after the defeat.
I want to ask each of you to remain as proud of the work you've done over the last 18 months as I will remain proud of the work we've done the last 18 months.
Even though Hasselbrook came up short in the polls tonight, he remains optimistic that Nebraska can push forward in the near future. Meanwhile, in Lincoln, the Pete Ricketts campaign celebrated with the latest governor of Nebraska.
We did it!
Ricketts told his crowd of supporters in the state capitol that his plan for Nebraska's future has 3 separate areas.
We know we have to have tax relief, especially property taxes, that we have to grow the economy, especially manufacturing and agriculture, and that we have to improve educational outcomes for all of our kids here in the state.
In total, Ricketts and his running mate Mike Foley put nearly 60,000 miles on their vehicles, traveling around Nebraska throughout the campaign. Reporting for the Omaha News, I'm Ryan Matheny.
Ricketts' term in office begins in January. Libertarian candidate Mark Ellsworth Jr. also received around 3.5% of the vote on Tuesday.
Republicans made a clean sweep of the other races for Congress. In the 1st Congressional District, Republican Jeff Fortenberry won his 6th term over his Democratic challenger, Dennis Crawford. The district, which includes Lincoln, went heavily in Fortenberry's favor. In the 3rd District, Republican Congressman Adrian Smith will return to Washington for his 5th term. Smith won his race by the largest margin with 76% of the vote over his Democratic opponent, Mark Sullivan.
There was also no question about who the next U.S. Senator would be. Reporter Melissa Ring has more on the Republican Ben Sasse and his successful win.
Thank you, Thomas. Republican Ben Sasse took the U.S. Senate seat, beating Domina by quite a margin.
The November 4th midterm election has come to a close. Republican Ben Sasse has taken the seat for U.S. Senate, beating his Democratic opponent Dave Domina by a percentage of 61 to 36. Repealing the Affordable Care Act has been the main component of Sasse's platform. Sasse campaigned in all 93 counties to talk to the people of Nebraska, which fortunately for him, paid off.
And it is a tremendous honor for me to be chosen by the people of Nebraska to follow Mike Johans in the George Norris U.S. Senate seat.
Although Dave Domina conceded the election, he still says he's going to continue to fight on issues he believes in.
I said I'm a warrior, and I am. I don't think Nebraskans want to have Social Security put in the hands of bankers who should have been prosecuted, and they don't want Medicare emaciated, and they don't want Medicaid to be not expanded.
Domina may have taken a hit in this election, but his campaign staff say they did their best, and if they could do it all over again, they wouldn't change much.
Wouldn't do anything differently other than taking money out of politics. When you're outspent 10 to 1 and the other candidate has millions from people outside Nebraska, that's an issue. And you can't run a different kind of campaign and take outside money. We didn't play that game because we would believe in what we say. 90% of our money was from Nebraskans because that's who we want to represent.
Domina's election wasn't won, but believes he's learned a lot and has started a good and heartfelt campaign people are going to want in the future.
Our new message needs to be that government needs to be by people. It cannot be by corporations.
We know we had the best candidate and we ran the most honorable race.
Ben Sasse took more than 61% of the votes for a grand lead. Back to you, Thomas.
Thanks, Melissa. Sasse says he's looking forward to building relationships between Republicans and Democrats. On the next segment of the Omaha News, we're looking into the questions surrounding the Blue Cross and Blue Shield and Catholic Health Initiative dispute.
We speak firsthand with a representative from Blue Cross Blue Shield who ensures there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Stay with us.
KVNO was in a really interesting place.
this Victorian mansion near UNO.
3 floors. The studios were on the 3rd floor.
Bedrooms and bathrooms. So we had a challenge, but we ultimately ended up with an on-air studio.
We soundproofed it with carpet, and actually I think it sounded really warm, very radio friendly.
There were also rumors that the 3rd floor was haunted. Those were the maid's chambers, as we were told.
I had a sink in the office and leaded glass windows which looked out on the stable house in the back.
One colleague talking about having the window open one day, a warm spring or fall day, and a squirrel jumping through the window onto a turntable.
It was a great place, a great ambiance for a fine arts station.
It definitely had a charm to it.
But about how you're feeling right now. One thing you would like our viewers to know about this state.
The importance of volunteerism.
What are you saying to folks?
I'm here to discuss these images.
When you can take that knowledge and that expertise and that passion in terms that they're all going to understand.
They need to know the real stories.
I'm Kathy Wyatt. Join us for Consider This each week on NET1.
NET Television expands your mind, enlightens your mind, inspires your mind, educates your mind, entertains your mind. NET Television opens up new worlds to you. Explore, travel, learn, discuss, debate. NET Television keeps you informed. Music, theater, dance, art, news. NET Television awakens your dreams, seeks to serve, strengthens our communities. We are Nebraskans. We are NET Television, Nebraska's PBS station.
You're watching the Omaha News.
Blue Cross Blue Shield has terminated their contract with 15 hospitals and over 1,000 doctors when they dropped CHI Health from their network. Reporter Elizabeth Ryan will dive deeper into how the termination has affected people in the metro area.
The insurance dispute between the Catholic Health Initiative and Blue Cross Blue Shield is not only personal for Sarah Pope.
I was diagnosed with hypothyroid. I'm only allowed to go to the hospital 4 times a year.
It's affected her professionally as well. An insurance patient advocate at Children's Hospital, the mother of one, lost her job when
we had the Allegiant contract, and that's the one that I worked until CHI took over. And they took everything in-house, so we lost our contract with Allegiant.
Blue Cross Blue Shield says there's only one reason for this dispute.
CHI Health facilities here in Omaha cost 10 to 30% more than the other hospitals here in Omaha.
While CHI CEO Cliff Robertson disagrees with the way that Blue Cross intends to maintain lower costs, with no concern for quality. Williams said Blue Cross Blue Shield would take CHI back.
So we really do want their facilities and their doctors in our network, but at the right price.
Now, there's no denying that this dispute has caused an inconvenience to patients around the metro area, but there is some good news. Patients suffering from HIV, AIDS, cancer, or women in their 2nd or 3rd trimesters of pregnancy can actually apply to stay with their same doctors. Both CHI and Blue Cross Blue Shield agreed to that. For the Omaha News, I'm Elizabeth Ryan.
For more information on how to move forward if your physician is now out of network, you can visit the dedicated website listed below or call the Blue Cross Blue Shield Nebraska hotline. Are you a regular blood donor? Well, there's an app for that. The American Red Cross is running their November promotion where all presenting donors at participating locations will receive a gift card or coupon to be used toward the purchase of a pie. For participating locations and to make an appointment, donors are encouraged to call the American Red Cross toll-free number listed below or by using the new Red Cross Blood Donor app.
It's official. 2 more states have approved the use of marijuana, and Nebraskans are wondering if we'll be next. Voters in Oregon and Washington, D.C. have voted to approve sweeping pro-marijuana legalization, according to a CNN projection. In Oregon, the law legalizes personal, possession, manufacture, and sale of marijuana for people 21 years of age and older. This law mimics similar plans within Washington State and Colorado. The Oregon law also creates a commercial regulatory system for the production, distribution, and sale of marijuana. While flu season outbreaks happen as early as October, most of the time flu activity peaks between December and February. UNO Health Services is now offering flu shots to UNO faculty and students. The CDC says that everyone 6 months of age or 6 months or older should get a flu vaccination every season. UNO Health Services began vaccinations mid-October, and Assistant Director of Health Services Julie Kalasek says some people have already taken advantage of the services. For those still in need of a flu shot, Health Services are accepting walk-ins at the Hyper building on campus. For more information on flu vaccinations on campus, visit UNO's website, which is listed below.
The nation's first soda tax was implemented last night in Berkeley, California, but the bill was lost in San Francisco. Berkeley's Measure D proposed imposing a 1 cent per ounce general tax on sugar-sweetened beverages and sweeteners used to flavor drinks. The measure did not dedicate funding to a specific cause and required only a majority of the vote. Berkeley's proposal makes exemptions for diet drinks, milk products, 100% juice, baby formula, alcoholic drinks taken for medical reasons, and sugary drinks and sweeteners distributed to small retailers. The bill's supporters have argued that soda and other sugar-sweetened beverages are major contributors to the nation's obesity epidemic, and taxing them will help address this crisis.
Coming up on the Omaha News, home invasions have become a serious problem throughout the metro area. We talk with representatives from the Omaha Police Department to find out what you can do to protect yourself.
Stay tuned.
Something new or reach beyond.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
When you want to peer inside,
there's something wrong here. This isn't normal.
It would seem almost impossible or push the limit.
Large tornado, it's humongous. You need to get out now.
When you want to dive deep.
These divers are like astronauts.
Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
Or go to the edge.
There are other worlds out there.
We don't know exactly what we're going to find.
When you want to find new frontiers.
I was truly astonished.
You just don't ever know.
Nova.
Wednesdays on NET1.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders. A place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Home invasions have been a growing concern throughout the Omaha metro area over the last decade. Reporter J.R. Cantor spoke firsthand with a homeowner that refuses to become another statistic.
I lock them every night.
It's usually the one place you feel the safest. Your home is where you can be your most vulnerable and not have to worry about someone hurting you. Since August 26th, there have been 6 home invasions that have ended violently. Homeowner Lori Rydell says even though a home invasion is possible, she's trying to prevent one.
We have the ADT system stickers all over the house, and the system is all set up.
Besides her home security system, Rydell also has 2 dogs that would make any intruder think twice before breaking into her house.
We don't close all of our drapes at night, or the curtains, and so they can see the dogs in the window.
Public Information Officer Kevin Weiss says that you don't need to have dogs the size of horses to prevent a home invasion.
If someone strange comes to your door and you don't know who that person is, don't open your door. If there's suspicious activity, call the police, call 911. That's what our job to do, is to investigate those types of things.
Officer Weiss says that home invasions have happened regularly over his 7 years on the force. He said if it does happen to you, the best thing you can do is be observant to help officers.
Try and look at their face, pay attention to what they're wearing, things like that, because as the investigation is done, those things will help us solve those cases.
Even something as simple as leaving a porch light on can prevent a home invasion. For the Omaha News, I'm J.R. Cantor.
For more home security tips and information, you can visit the Omaha Police Department site below or call 402-444-5772.
The typical powerlifter is a big, burly guy with biceps bigger than his head. He walks around the gym trying to show how much he can lift and looks intimidatingly down upon the scrawny. Right? Wrong. Kirby Bridges reports on Omaha's bubbly powerlifter.
I always think positive, then and now.
Meet Bonica Law, the relentless optimist.
Cup is not half empty, it's half full.
She lets no weight get the better of her.
Not going to 3 bigs. Woo!
Only 3. She'll stack 5 of these on each side of the bar at the upcoming Women's Open World Championships. In training, she's a woman on a mission.
Game time.
She's out to surprise people she hasn't competed against since 2008.
This is our Super Bowl.
But coming from a small town in Michigan, Bonica's first sport wasn't powerlifting.
I would have never guessed I'd be this power lifter, squatting over 500 pounds, benching over 300, deadlifting over 500. I'll be like, no.
And for good reason. She only stumbled into the sport after she was cut from her high school volleyball team and had to choose between powerlifting and cheerleading.
Bonica chose sweat and iron over skirts and pom-poms, and she's never looked back.
Like what I feel like I'm doing right now is just like a Rocky story, Rocky IV.
Her number 1 competition is a Russian opponent who won't know what Bonica's capable of.
Like I know I have not met my full potential.
Which is exciting to the bubbly powerlifter. For the Omaha News, I'm Kirby Bridges.
Bonica will be competing in the IPF Women's World Open Powerlifting Championships on Friday. You can catch the live stream of her performance on the website powerlifting-ipf.com. That does it for this edition of the Omaha News. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with news stories from our reporters.
From all of us here at the Omaha News, good night.
UNO Television gives students a chance to work in a real studio. Working on the TV crew, students get hands-on experience with lights, camera, and action. Working on a variety of shows gives students a leg up looking for jobs. In fact, many former crew members work at local stations. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for students to learn the science and art of TV production. UNO TV, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
When will you look deep into space? When will you travel back in time? When will you experience the power of red? When? Anytime. Online at video.netnebraska.org. Search, select, and share with the NET Video Player. Watch our shows on your schedule.
Watch the Omaha News Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on the Knowledge Network.
What if there were a neighborhood where every child felt they belonged, and a big dog helped them stay little a little longer? A monkey helped them find the wonder in every little thing, and a flightless bird showed them how to soar. Support the people and programs that never stop asking, what if?
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.